في سجود وهي ترسو في سجود
عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. A brother came to me earlier today when I arrived in Birmingham with some issues, with some problems, and he is not unlike anyone else who's sitting in this majlis. So I told him, come today inshallah and we will make the dars exclusively for you. We'll change it and we'll make it exclusively for you. Some things that you probably need to hear as it relates to what our deen has to say to help people who are in his situation and the people who are in the same situation that we are all in. So I begin first by dealing with his issue and then we'll deal with the subject that I wanted to talk about today. And I remind him of the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. It's been collected by Imam Muslim. Imam Muslim brought his isnad. Imam al-A'mash took the hadith from Abu Salih, who narrated on Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. In this hadith, one of those tremendous hadith of Islam that helps us to put our situations in perspective. If you're looking for peace of mind, he says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there does not exist a group of people who come together in one of the houses of Allah, in the bayt from the buyut of Allah Azza wa Jal, meaning the masajid. And another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not mention the house. He just said there is not a group of people who come together and they read the book of Allah. But those who come together in the masjid is even stronger, is even better. The women who don't come to the masjid and they remain home, they remain at home and they read the Quran at home, this virtue is for them at home, and the people who can't come to the masjid. Similarly, if the women come to the masjid, they still get this reward and they still get the virtue. they do not come to the masjid, read the book of Allah, and they study it between themselves, except that Allah sends the sakina down upon them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His rahmah down upon them. And Allah ta'ala causes the malaika to come down and to engulf them, to be in their presence. And Allah Azza wa Jal mentions them with those who are with Him. So these four virtues, ikhwan, they come as a result of reading the Quran, studying the Quran in the masjid especially. That when it happens, the people come together. If they read the Quran, they read about their religion, whether it's at the day of the Jummah, whether it's a dars in the class, if they come to the masjid to learn this religion, especially when they read the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, these four things happen. They receive the sakina of Allah Azza wa Jal, and they forget about the problems that they're dealing with. When the person mentions their problem in the masjid, that's when they remember. But prior to the dhikr of your mushkila, you forget about it. The sakina of Allah Azza wa Jal comes down, and the sakina is the tu'ma'nina. It is the tranquility that everyone is looking for in his life. To have a life that is tranquil, easy. The sakina. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنَّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنَّ الْقُلُوبِ. Those people who believe and their hearts become tranquil as a result of the dhikr of Allah, the Quran. Verily the dhikr of Allah will cause their hearts to become tranquil. That is only when you come to the masjid. But if you're at home, if you're trying to solve your problems, akhi, if you're spending your time making qila wa qalin, ghiban namima, Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't send the sakina for that type of situation. It's for the people who come and they study the Quran. That's from the virtues of the Quran and the benefit of the Quran that we have to ask you brothers. You. What is the last ayat that you've been working on from the book of Allah? We are the ummah of Islam, the ummah of the Quran. So why is it that the vast majority of the Muslims in this masjid, in this city, we're not memorizing the Quran? Ask yourself, what is the last ayat that I memorized, that I'm working on? When is the last time I've opened up the Quran and I read the Quran? And if the answer is, wallahi, I don't know, if the answer is a long time ago, then there's no cause of finding any strangeness in the condition of our lives. The sakina of Allah comes as a result of studying this Quran, reading this Quran, having the proper aqeedah and the proper iman. As Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِالظُّلْمِ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. Those people who believe and they do not mix up their religion with shirk, those are the ones who will have safety. They will have an amin. They have sakina and safety in the dunya. And they are the ones who are guided. No matter what's going on in their life, from the mashakil, no matter what's going on in their life, they do not suffer from mental problems. They don't know which way, they don't become people confused which way to go, because they have the proper aqeedah. And from the proper aqeedah is a person understands and he believes with yaqeen, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He believes, la yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. I can handle it. He believes that Allah is Hakim and He put him in that situation for some hikmah. He doesn't become a person who becomes faint-hearted. And he will find himself in the toughest of conditions. And he still tastes the sweetness of Iman. The Prophet ﷺ was the Imam of the Dhakireen, those who make the dhikr of Allah. And he also was the Imam of the Mu'mineen, and those who have a Tawheed. So he showed us in so many mawaqif, in so many positions, how because of his iman, when the problems came to him, no matter how severe the situation was, Rasulullah, he was able to handle the situation. Allah mentioned in Surah Tawbah, for an example, and there are too many, when those kuffar, the mushrikeen of Quraysh, were chasing after him to kill him, and he went into the cave with Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and Abu Bakr said, Ya Rasulullah, all they have to do is look at their feet, they're going to see us. That's all they have to do is inadvertently look at the feet, they're going to see us. Rasulullah told them, don't be afraid. What's your opinion of two people, Allah is the third one with them? What's your opinion? What are you afraid for? And Allah mentioned that in the Quran, and He said, إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ لَا تَهْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَيْهِ وَأَيَّدَهُ بِجُنُودِهِ لَمْ تَرَوْهَا. And remember when he said to his companion Abu Bakr, don't be afraid, Allah is with us. The ma'iyya khasa. Because of your iman, Allah's assistance will be with you. Don't be afraid, Allah is with us. Don't worry about it. And then Allah sent down His sakina at a critical time. But if you're disconnected from your religion, then obviously you're going to have problems. You either have mental problems that you have to get sorted out, or because of your weakness in iman, you're going to be muttarab. You don't know which way you're going to go. So the masjid is the place to come to sort those issues out if you're looking for tranquility. So I invite that brother to continue to come to the masjid, continue to take the durus, and all of you brothers, because it's not a person he accepts that he has some issues. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that hadith, and Allah sends the rahmah down upon the individual. They come together and they read the Quran, Allah sends rahmah down upon them for reading this book. وَنُنَزِّرُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We reveal in the Quran what is a shifa, a healer, a cure, and a rahmah for the believers. So just by reading the Quran, the rahmah that we're looking for, it comes down. The rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He said about it, وَوَسِعَتْ رَحْمَةِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. And my rahmah has extended beyond everything. Kuffar, Muslims, religious, irreligious, animals, other than that, the jinn, my rahmah has extended over everything. But there's the special rahmah that comes for the iman. Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman in the dunya, rahmah for everyone and everything in the dunya. Ar-Rahim only for the believers, Yawmul Qiyamah. His rahmah is only for the believers, Yawmul Qiyamah. So come to the masjid, read the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, and you will get the rahmah of Allah Ta'ala. The rahmah that we make dua for, that Allah mentioned in the Quran. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً. Do not cause our hearts to deviate after you guided us aright, and bestow upon us rahmah from your own self. That rahmah comes, ikhwan, by reading the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. Wallahi, the shaitan, he is an expert in causing us to divorce ourselves from the Quran. Again, when was the last time, Ya Ummat al-Islam, that you read the book of Allah, and what was the last ayah, the last surah that you are working on? And the malaika, they come down. Right now, from our Islam, from our religion, is that we have no doubt. As I see you and you see me, as you hear me, we have no doubt that the malaika of Allah Azza wa Jal, they are present right now, witnessing, listening. Because when the Quran is being read, when the Muslims come together in the masjid, that's the kalam they want to hear. They fly around looking for the majadis of al-ilm. And when they hear the Quran being read and the Muslims come together to show the tashrif of that issue, they come to the masjid. They're in the masjid. They're with us right now, surrounding us, because the Quran is important to the malaika. They love to hear the Quran. Again, the malaika, they do not come because there's no virtue. They do not come to listen when we're making ghiba of people, when we're minding other people's business, when we're cursing each other out, when we're talking about what doesn't benefit us, what doesn't concern us. They don't come for that. They come down to the masajid of Allah Azza wa Jal when the Muslims come together to read the Quran. And not only that, ikhwan, the Prophet told us sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu, that Zahid, that Mujahid, that Muallim from the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he reported in an authentic hadith, Ma salaka Muslimun maslaka yatlabu fihi ilma illa salaka Allahu bihi tariqan ila al-jannah. وَإِنَّ الْمَلَائِكَةَ لَتَضَعَ أَجْنِحَتَهَا لِطَالِبِ الْعِلْمِ رَضًا بِمَا يَصْنَعُ. Anyone who goes out, barakallahu fi, anyone who goes out, ikhwan, in search of knowledge, to read the Quran, to learn his religion, to come to the masjid, anyone who goes out in search of knowledge, Allah will make easy for him his path to paradise. And verily the malaika will put their wings down and submit themselves in humility for the student of knowledge, out of being pleased with what they're doing. They make it easy for them to arrive to the masjid. They carry them to the masjid. They make their way in the road easy. The malaika, ikhwan, they do that for knowledge. They do that for the masjid. They do that for the Quran. They don't do that when we waste our time and we waste our lives and that other stuff. So, akhi, come to the masjid and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow all of these virtues upon you. You don't have to be muttarab. You don't have to say things like, I'm thinking about killing myself. No one says that who understands this religion. The only person who says that is the one that shaitan has totally, absolutely overcome him. Why would one kill himself or think about it and all of these virtues lie in wait for him? All he has to do is make an effort and come to the masjid, and the malaika will make it easy for him to make it. And finally, if that was not enough, Allah said, and Allah will mention them with those who are with him. Allah will mention them, those people who come to the masjid, to the malaika, al-muqarrabeen. Allah will mention them to the anbiya who are in the barzakh, in their qubur, making the salat. Allah will mention to them, look at fulan and look at fulan and look at fulan. All of us, we want to be mentioned by each other in a way that is good. Someone wants to marry someone else. Someone wants to work with someone else. Someone wants to go into business with someone else. We hope and we expect when that person goes to ask about you, you hope that they say, MashaAllah, he's trustworthy. MashaAllah, he's a good brother. MashaAllah, he's holding on to the deen. That's what we want people to say about us. Someone asks, your aunt, your uncle, your neighbor, what about fulan? You want them to say, MashaAllah, he's a good brother. We want to be mentioned with good by other people. What about Allah Azza wa Jal mentioning you amongst the malaika, mentioning you with good? It's even more. Allah mentions that individual because he comes to the masjid to learn his deen. He said in the hadith al-Qudsi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah Azza wa Jal said, إِذَا ذَكَرَنِي عَبْدِي أنا إني مع عبدي ما ذكرني إذا ذكرني عبدي في نفسه ذكرته في نفسي وإذا ذكرني في مجلس ذكرته في مجلس خير منه. I am with my servant, I am with my slave as long as my slave remembers me and mentions me. The ma'iyah of Allah. There is the ma'iyah, meaning that Allah is there with you. Ma'a, Allah is with you. There's the general one. Allah is with everywhere, everything, everyone. Allah is everywhere with His knowledge, His ability to see, to hear. Allah is everywhere. He's over his arsh, but he's everywhere with everyone in his knowledge. But Allah Azza wa Jal is with the believer specifically, with his help and his assistance when he needs his help. Ana inni ma'abdi, I am with my servant. When Allah Azza wa Jal sent Harun and Musa to Fir'aun the Zalim, the Taghut, he told them, Inni ma'akuma asma' wa ara. Go to Fir'aun, and I am with you. I hear and I see. Don't be afraid. Don't give up. Don't be afraid. I'm with you. So Allah is with you if you remember Allah. So if the slave remembers Allah in himself, Allah will remember him. If the slave remembers Allah in the majlis, Allah will remember him in a majlis better than that. So those virtues of that hadith, they should be enough to be a reminder to you and for you not to allow the shaitan to trick you into saying those things that are not acceptable in the religion. After that, ikhwan, we want to remind you, inshallah ta'ala, of another issue that is connected to that brother and connected to many of the people who are sitting here. And that is that Allah Azza wa Jal has prepared for this ummah so many rewards as a result of his rahmah and his fadl and his karam. The people from Noah and other than Noah, they lived to be so old, 1,000 years, 950 years. Ibrahim salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi circumcised himself when he was 81 years old. They used to live to be old in age. And then this ummah comes, and the average age for everyone from this ummah is 61 years old. Some people live longer, some people live less. If you take all of the Muslims and you were to see at which age they die, the average is going to be according to what Rasulullah says sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though we have that short age span, nonetheless, you read the Quran, Alif Lam Mim is 30 hasana. If you give a pound in sadaqah, Allah will make it 10 pounds up to 700 pounds. The hasana is by 10 or more. Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. So even though our age span is less, despite that, Allah Azza wa Jal, He gives people a lot of rewards so that we will compete and surpass the people who lived prior to us if we die on this religion. So there are a group of people that we want to remind you of, who Allah Ta'ala will give them their reward 2 times in this deen. 2 times they will get a reward in their deen. And the reason why we're mentioning this, ikhwan, is number 1, so those of you who fall under the realm and the umbrella of what's being mentioned, you would take the bushra of the ni'mah of Allah and the rahmah of Allah upon you. And for the other brothers to strive and to struggle to be of those other people who get those rewards. And the first one we want to mention is the hadith of our mother Aisha radiyallahu anha. Those people will get their reward 2 times. And Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim, they took this hadith and narrated it, that Aisha said that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-mahiru bil-Qur'an مع السفرة الكرام البررة والذي يقرأه وهو يتتعتع فيه وهو ليه شاق له أجران. The one who reads the Quran and he is an expert, he's an hafiz of the Quran, he knows what he's doing, he knows the ahkam of the tajweed, he took the time out to learn the book of Allah. It was important enough for his father to make him a person who was prolific in the Quran, to try to make him the best of the ummah. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. Uthman narrated that Rasulullah said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of you sitting here, the one who learned the Quran and taught it. He took the time out to learn this book, which is not easy because it needs some time. So the one who reads it and he is mahir. Mahir means an expert. Mahir. He's an expert in mechanics. He's an expert in whatever he does. He's mahir or she's mahira. So that man is an expert in the Quran. There's a woman from the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Her kunya is Hisham bintul Haritha radiyallahu anha. Qalat ما أخذت قاف والقرآن المجيد إلا من لسان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقرأها كل جمعة على المنبر. She said, I learned the surah Qaf wal Quran al-Majid. I learned that surah from the lips of Rasulullah, from his tongue. That's how I learned it, because he used to read it every Friday on the minbar. The lady was ummiyah, couldn't read, couldn't write, and she learned this surah that is relatively long as it relates to us, because most of us don't know the surah. She's a woman, and women, they're not tulab al-ilm. They don't go after knowledge, but she learned this surah just from listening over and over and paying attention. The Quran was important to those people. Everyone knows Al-Imam Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the Khalifa, who was a mujahid, an alim. When he was young, his father Abdul Aziz ibn Marwan, rich man, but he was intelligent. He sent his boy Umar radiallahu anhu to Al-Madina in order to learn the Quran. He was learning the Quran with one of the leading Qurra of the Muslims in Medina. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the son of that Khalifa, he came to the dars late. The man asked him, why did you come late today? He said, the lady, the khadima, she took a long time combing my hair, making my hair correct. She took a long time, she made me late. The qari, the muallim, the hafiz wrote to his father, look, this is what your son is doing. Comes to the class late because of his hair. Marwan, his father, Abdul Aziz ibn Marwan, sent a man to cut his hair from where he was all the way to Medina. Cut his hair. He doesn't want the boy's hair to come between him and the hifz of the Quran. But the Muslim now, he has a son, and he never goes over the Quran with his son, with his wife, his own self. He doesn't memorize the Quran. The mahir of the Quran will be with the malaika yawm al-qiyamah, and the one who reads it with difficulty and he stutters in it, he will get a double reward. So instead of, akhi, talking about killing yourself, instead of one of us giving in to shaitan, come to the masjid and learn the Quran. You'll get a reward for your effort, and you'll get another reward because it's difficult for you. The rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So most of us are ajam, we're not Arabs. So shaitan comes to one of us and says, I'm not Arab, I can't learn the Quran, I can't read the Quran. A shaitan is mahir. He's mahir. He's an expert in making waswas. So ikhwani, turn to the book of Allah over again. You'll get 2 rewards for the a'ajam. As for those who are Arabs, Arabs today are also like the a'ajam. Whether it is in the Quran or the language of the Quran. So the hadith also yantabiq alayka. The second person who will get his reward 2 times. Some of us are from these people if you are diligent in dying on al-Islam. If you get the tawfiq of Allah and you're muwaffaq and you die on al-Islam. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu, he said that he heard the Prophet say, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, in this hadith that is muttafaqun alayhi. Who knows with your hand? Who knows what muttafaqun alayhi means? Who knows what it means? With a show of your hands. The hadith that's been collected by Imam al-Bukhari and al-Imam Muslim, muttafaqun alayhi. Mahir. The word mahir. What does it mean? Who knows what mahir means? The little brother right there. An expert. What does the word mahira mean? Mahira. Who knows mahira? Mahira. The brother all the way back there on the pillar. The woman expert. I saw some people who said Mahira, they put their hands up. When I said Mahira, they put their hands down. It's just the ta marbuta, ikhwan. So she's the woman expert of the Quran. Or she is Mahira in cooking chapatis. She could be Mahira. She's an expert. The second one is the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Or the hadith of the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. It's al-Bukhari wa Muslim. Rasulullah came out and he told the women, give sadaqah. Give sadaqah. You women are the majority of the occupants of the hellfire. So give sadaqah. The woman of Abdullah bin Mas'ud went home, told Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Rasulullah ordered us women to give sadaqah. Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, to give sadaqah, we need money more than anyone else. I'm a student of knowledge. I don't work that much in order to be with Rasulullah to get the knowledge. Me, Abu Hurairah, Anas ibn Malik, we are people who are around Rasulullah. We need sadaqah. What do you mean you're going to go get sadaqah to someone else? She said, well, why don't you go to Rasulullah and ask him, can I give the sadaqah to you? He said, you go and ask him. I'm not going to go ask that question. Can I get welfare for my wife? Can my wife give me sadaqah, ya Rasulullah? I have more honor than that. The lady went, only to find another lady from the Ansar already at the door of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bilal came, the bawab of Rasulullah. Bilal was the mu'adhin, and Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim in his book Zadul Ma'ad, in the first volume, he tells us who are the maternal aunts and uncles of Rasulullah, the paternal aunts and uncles of Rasulullah, who were the slaves of Rasulullah, who were the wives of Rasulullah, who were those people who were his scribes, and so forth and so on. All those details we can find about our messenger and our prophet. The ulama of Islam left no stone unturned. Bilal was the mu'adhin and the bawab. He was the doorman. You come to visit him, he stopped you at the door. He goes and say, Ya Rasulullah, Abu Bakr wants to come in, Umar wants to come in. So those two ladies said, tell Rasulullah, two women are here. We want to know, can we give our husbands the sadaqah? And can we give the sadaqah to our own children? When Bilal went to him, he asked him the question. Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, na walahum ajrul qaraba wa ajrul sadaqa. They can give their husbands the sadaqah and they will get two rewards. Na walahuma ajran. They will get two rewards. They get one reward for connecting the relationships, for taking care of their family members. And they'll get another reward for the sadaqah. So for those of us who want to give sadaqah, the first person who's deserving of the sadaqah is the family member. Your zakat should go to the family member who's miskeen, who's muhtaj. And you'll get a reward for connecting the qaraba, silatul rahim, and you'll also get another reward for actually giving the sadaqah in the first place. We are a masjid of Ahlul Hadith, a group of people of Ahlul Hadith. But wallahi, ikhwan, we need to begin to ask ourselves, what is our understanding of Ahlul Hadith? You go to the masjid of Ahlul Hadith, and the person will sit down before praying 2 rak'at. You go to the masjid of Ahlul Hadith, and the people will make a salat of al-ghaib on the janazah, and the person died in Pakistan or India, and he's already been prayed over, and we're going to pray over him again. But the ulama of Ahlul Hadith said that's a deviation. Ahlul Hadith, and we don't read the hadith, we don't know the hadith. Ahlul Hadith to some of us, it simply means Raf'ul Yadayn of Ahlul Hadith. It means to some of us saying Ameen, and I'm Ahlul Hadith. La, Alf, La. Ahlul Hadith is doing your best to take the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be on the way of the people of Al-Hadith. Don't let anyone sit there and you're not from Ahlul Hadith. You're from some other group. I'm not calling you to a group. I'm not calling you to a group. Don't think I'm saying come and sign your name up with Ahlul Hadith. I'm talking about the concept of being a person who takes the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we were to pray in the masjid of Ahlul Hadith and the Imam made one salam to the right and he said after the salam, Assalamu alaikum, and he stopped there, people from Ahlul Hadith will remain behind him looking, saying, did the microphone break? Waiting for him to turn the other way. La, that's from the Sunnah. And you can explain, Ikhwan, that's what Rasulullah brought to us, and you'll find people upset with that. So I want to remind you, Ikhwan, of something really important. We have ulama who come from the countries where you come from. Al-Imam, Al-Allama, Al-Muhaddith, Badi'uddin Ibn Rashid As-Sandi, an Imam of the Hadith, spent time, his life, spreading the Hadith in his country. Only to see us come here to lose the concept of what it really is to be Ahlul Hadith. People lost their lives spreading Islam in this country, the Quran and the Sunnah, the Hadith, and we come now and we destroy that legacy. People travel to get da'wah Allah and they lose their lives on the motorway, and we come and we don't really try to be of the people of Hadith. It's not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. So as it relates to those from amongst you who want to give zakat, who wants to give sadaqah, part of the virtues of doing that is that you have the fiqh of the hadith, and that is, as Rasulullah says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, khayru sadaqatin tasaddaqa biha rajul, tasaddaqatun tasaddaqa biha ala ahlihi. The best dinar, the best sadaqah that you can give is the sadaqah that you pay for your family. Those people who are close to you deserve the sadaqah before you. Before you. From what we see is one of us has a baby, and the practice of the aqiqah is lost with Ahlul Hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sure to push the issue of slaughtering for the girl and slaughtering for the boy, and spreading the meat out from the Muslims who were relatives close in the community to make the community strong. Today, this sunnah has almost been lost with many of us. Why? Because we find what the people do is they just send the money as sadaqah overseas. La. We should bring back to life the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Slaughter here, give the meat to those family members who need it here, bring it to the masjid, bring it in your home, and let the people partake in this sunnah that makes muhabba and makes the brotherhood of al-Islam stronger. So the sadaqah is for your family first and foremost, and then also it goes out according to that. From those people the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam told us will get their reward 2 times is that individual Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu told us about in Sahih al-Bukhari wa Muslim. ثلاثة يؤتون أجرهم مرتين وذكر منهم رجل من أهل الكتاب آمن بنبيه وأدرك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فآمن به واتبعه وصدقه فله أجران. There will be 3 people who will get their reward 2 times. The one who we want to mention today from this hadith is the man who believed in his Nabi. A man from Ahlul Kitab who believed in Jesus, or he believed in Musa. He was a Yahudi, or he was a Nasrani, a Jew or Christian. He believed in Jesus, even believing with shirk and kufr. He was a Christian at one time. He was a Jew at one time. And then he believed in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He believed in him and he followed him. وَاتَّبَعَهُ. He was a muttabi'. He made it ittiba'. He followed what Rasulullah said sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, again, as I mentioned, ikhwan, the 2 rak'at is just an example. The 2 rak'at. The companion came into the masjid, Sulayk al-Ghatafani radiyallahu anhu, and he sat down without making the 2 rak'at, the haqq of the masjid. Rasulullah said to Sulayk, Ya Sulayk, asallayta rak'atayn? Qala la. Qala qum fasalliha. Stand up and pray them. Did you pray 2 rak'at? He said no. He said stand up and pray them right now. Sulayk did not sit there and say, Ya Rasulullah, is that in the Quran? Ya Rasulullah, did Allah order me to do that? Ya Rasulullah. He didn't sit there and start using his intellect to go back and forth. Someone came into the masjid today and he didn't pray the 2 rak'at. He hears the hadith of Rasulullah. إِذَا دَخَلَ أَحَدُكُمُ الْمَسْجِدِ فَلَا يَجْلِسْ حَتَّى يُصَلِّيَ رَكْعَتَيْنِ. If any of you enters into a masjid, don't sit down until you pray 2 rak'at. The shaitan comes to him and says, don't get up. The people are going to know you didn't pray 2 rak'at. Even though he needs those 2 rak'at to be in his mizan, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Those companions weren't like that. So the one from Ahlul Hadith, from Ahlul Kitab, he believed in his Nabi and he believed in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he followed him. He followed him. He made al-ittiba'. He didn't say, my people don't do that. My imam didn't say that. My madhab is not upon that. My jama'at doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. He makes ittiba' of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ikhwan, remember this. The people in this masjid are of 3 types as it relates to practicing Islam. The people in this ummah are of 3 types. The first person from this ummah is the alim who is a mujtahid. He has the ability to read the Quran and the Sunnah, and he extracts from those 2 sources his adillah, haram, halal. He has to practice what his knowledge leads him to believe is the truth. The second person is the muttabi'. He has ittiba'. He's not a scholar, but he has the ability to read. He has the ability to take the issue of raf'ul yadayn. He reads. This is in Bukhari, this is in Muslim, this is in Abu Dawud, and all of these ahadith are saying Rasulullah did raf'ul yadayn. And then he looks at the other ones that say, no, you shouldn't do raf'ul yadayn. And he finds that those are weak. Wallahi, not a single one of them is authentic. Even the ulama from his madhab says it's not authentic. So he has to be muttabi'. He says, I have the ability, I can read this, I understand it. So he has to follow to the best of his ability the dalil. And he goes wherever it takes him to the best of his ability. He's not a mujtahid, but he has the ability to understand. And then we have the third person. The third person is the muqallid. He makes taqleed. It's permissible to make taqleed. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, ask the people of knowledge. If you don't know, and then follow them in that. You can make taqleed. Taqleed means to take a ring and to put it in your nose. Or to take a ring and to put it in your ear. But especially to put it in your nose for the animal. You take a ring and you put it in the nose of the cow and you pull him wherever you want to pull him. That's taqleed. You want to take him off the cliff? He's going to follow you off the cliff. So you can be a muqallid. Take a scholar and follow him. Your scholar of your madhab, Hanafi, Maliki, whatever, and follow him. You can be muqallid. But the muqallid la yatakallam. The person who makes taqleed should not talk. He shouldn't say you have to have a madhab. He shouldn't say that. You don't have any knowledge to say someone has to have a madhab or not. So you hate him based upon the fact that he's not on your madhab, or he doesn't follow a madhab, or he's a muttabi'. You shouldn't say to him anything. You shouldn't discuss raf'ul yadayn. You shouldn't discuss any issue because you are muqallid. And the muqallid is who? The technical definition of the muqallid is the one who takes the dalil of someone else and he doesn't know where it came from. What should I do? Do Rafal Yadain. He does Rafal Yadain. You ask him why, he says, Wallahi, I don't know. The Shaykh told me to. I read it in the book, Sifatul Salat al-Nabi, so I'm doing it. He's muqallid. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know what's going on. The muttabi' is the one who can say, do Rafal Yadain because, look, this hadith says this and this hadith says that, and here over here these hadith are weak based upon. He has the ability to say it, to show you. So the person from Ahlul Kitab, he believed in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam after believing in his Nabi, and he had ittiba'. Khwan, why would we come into this religion? We come into the door of Al-Islam only to open up the window and to jump out the window from the 80th floor to land on our heads. Had we died believing Jesus is the Son of Allah, we would have been fuel for the hellfire. You're going to come into Islam to allow the wool to be pulled over your eyes a second time. I'm Hanafi, I'm Maliki, I'm this, I'm from this Jama'ah, that Jama'ah. Be a muttabi'. Be a person who learns your religion. Be from those people who the Prophet described sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thalatha man wajadahunna wajada halawat al-iman. 3 things. Whoever finds these 3 things, he will find the sweetness of al-iman. أن يكون الله ورسوله أحب إليه مما سواهما. That Allah and His Messenger are more beloved to him than anyone else. He embraced the religion, and he said to his mother and his father, not disrespectfully with his lisan. He didn't say with his lisan. He said in his behavior, look, Ummah, Abi, if you guys want to go to the Nar Jahannam, you can go. I'm not going with you. So he becomes a Muslim. And he said to his mother and his father, the 2 people more beloved to him, you can go to Jahannam. So now as it relates with the Muslims, do you think he should care what the Muslims think when he said to his mother and his father, who he loves more than the Muslim? This man gave me birth, the lady gave me birth. I said to them, you can go to Jahannam. I'm not going with you. To please you, I'm going to remain on that dalal and kufr and shirk. So Allah and His Messenger becomes more beloved to him. Doesn't care what the people think. You shouldn't care what the people think. That doesn't mean you can't have hikmah. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have rahmah. That doesn't mean you shouldn't give dawah in the right way. The second thing he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَأَن يُحِبُّ الْمَرْءُ وَلَا يُحِبُّهُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. He loves a person and he only loves him for Allah. The sweetness of iman. That he loves his brother, not because he gets anything from him, except I love you for Allah's sake. And the proof I love you for Allah's sake is we advise each other. I don't talk bad about you behind your back. I'm not jealous of you. I don't have shamata towards you. Shamata. Who knows what shamata is? It's a word we use a few times. Shamata. Shamata, ikhwan, is a word, it's a characteristic of the munafiqeen. Shamata is when evil befalls your brother, you become happy. You rejoice in it. You get happy. If their house burns down, you become happy. If he gets into an accident in his car, you become happy. That's shamata. The mushrikun, the munafiqun, when Rasulullah went to make jihad, if some companions were killed, if they lost the war, the munafiqeen used to be happy. And when good befalls them, they become upset. That's shamata. Don't have shamata for your brother or your sister or your relatives. So he loves them, and he only loves them for Allah. And the third point, and this is the point, وَيَكْرَهُ أَنْ يَعِيدُوا فِي الْكُفْرِ كَمَا يَكْرَهُ أَنْ يُقْذَفَ فِي النَّارِ. And he hates to go back to kufr just as he hates to be thrown in the fire. Those 3 things will give you the halawah of an iman. Love Allah and His Messenger more than anyone else. Love a brother only for Allah. And to hate to go back to kufr and jahiliyyah, just like you hate to be thrown in the hellfire. Those brothers who are from Pakistan, when I was in Medina, from Afghanistan, the Afghanis, they used to cook a bread called the tamiz bread. Tamiz. It's a bread that had an oven. They would put the dough on the thing and then put it in the oven and stick it up in there. And we used to go and wait in line for that bread. You can eat it with milk and honey, milk and sugar like cereal, or eat it with food. And just standing there, you wonder, if this fire is like that, how is the fire of Jahannam? You couldn't help but think in that point. Who in his right mind would like to be thrown inside of that oven? No one in his right mind. So you came into the religion of Al-Islam. Why are you going to become a Sufi? How are you going to come into the door and jump right out of the window thinking you can fly? Sit in with the people, hoowa, 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 hoowa. Wallahi, it has no dalil for it. But it makes me feel good. When we were Christians in the black church and they started singing, that used to make us feel good. Is that a dalil that that's the haqq? Feeling good is holding on to this kitab and following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. So those brothers of mine, don't say that word that you said, akhi. You came into the religion of Al-Islam. How now are you going to think about jumping out of the window to kill yourself? What is wrong with you? The last person we want to mention, ikhwan, and there are many. From that hadith we mentioned there are two other ones, but they're not really related to us. The man who was a slave, he was an abd. فَأَدَّى حَقَّ اللَّهِ وَحَقَّ سَيِّدِهِ. The slave who gave Allah his rights, and he gave his master his rights. A dalil that there's slavery in Al-Islam. But we don't want to mention those people. They're not, the point is not relevant today for us. It's the person from Ahlul Kitab. It's the person who embraced the religion and now you're on the deen, remain on Al-Islam. There was a time when at the beginning when we became Muslims, you had the luxury of bouncing around with this group and that group and that group until you found the Sunnah. You don't have that luxury today. You find yourself with a group today, because you're with that group, you'll find yourself tomorrow in Guantanamo Bay. So pay attention to who you're listening to. Pay attention to the way you're understanding Islam. Come to the Quran and the Sunnah, the correct way. The last person that we want to mention, ikhwan, and they should be mentioned because during this time and this age, we have this fitness, the hadith of Amr ibn al-As, radiyallahu anhu, that tremendous companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This hadith has been collected by Imam al-Bukhari and Abu Dawood and other than that. The Prophet says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا اجْتَهَدَ الْحَاكِمُ فله إذا اجتهد الحاكم فأصاب فله أجران وإذا اجتهد وأخطأ فله أجر واحد. If the scholar makes ijtihad, the mujtahid, the alim, if he makes ijtihad and he gets it right, he'll get 2 rewards because he's the highest level. He's not the muttabi'. He's not the muqallid. It's not permissible for him to be a muqallid. Haram for him to make taqleed. He has the alat, the tools of al-ijtihad. So he makes his ijtihad to the best of his ability. He'll get 2 rewards because he's a special person. He's from the warathatul anbiya. He's from those who inherit from the anbiya and the rasul. He's special in this religion. His blood is haram. And his meat, his flesh is haram and it's poison. And you should not ever, by any stretch of the imagination, fall into his honor, especially based upon speculation and dhan, su'ad dhan, with no dalil. He has a special place in his deen. If he gets it right, 2 rewards. If he gets it wrong, he'll still get 1 reward, which is one of the virtues of knowledge in the religion of Al-Islam. The ulama and those who are on the way of the ulama from the tulab al-ilm, they are the people who have a special position in the deen of Al-Islam. So those are the 4 that we wanted to mention today, ikhwan. And now I got the sign, the signal we're going to take care of today to stick to. I'll take 3 questions if you have any questions, inshallah. Do you brothers have any questions? You had your hand up, Akhi? Your brothers have any questions? Also, Ikhwan, at the time of the question, I see as soon as I say you have any questions, more than one person he does like this. And then he scratches his lihya. If you have a question, you can ask the question. We have this question here. For the brother of his dedicated talk. Please give this book to him. Okay. This person says, Assalamu alaikum, Akhi Abu Usamah, please give this book to the brother of this dedicated talk. It has helped me as well as the Quran and the other books, mashallah. And also, brother, even the Prophet ﷺ wanted to kill himself, to throw himself from the mountain. But the angel Jibreel ﷺ stopped him. Please forgive me if I have said anything to offend you. There's no offense, sister. As for the narration that Rasulullah ﷺ wanted to throw himself off of the mountain, that narration is not thabit. It's not thabit. And if that was an authentic narration, it would be a ta'an in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Rasulullah wanted to throw himself off the mountain, that would be a point of criticism for the people to say, no, something is wrong with him, he wanted to kill himself. Like Musa, when he killed the man from Bani Israel in defense of his brother, and he killed him. The people said to Musa when he came to give dawah, you killed the man from amongst us. You killed the man from amongst us, now you come and tell us to do righteousness? That's when I was astray. I made tawbah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was he was the a'qal al-nas and the a'lam al-nas in Jahiliyyah. His aql was aqwa than the aqul of all the other people. So that is not thabit. So Akhi, come see me at the car on the way out. This is the love of al-Islam. The sister, mashallah, is given the book of the ayat that we mentioned, La Tahzan. Don't be sad. And it's a book by A'id ibn Abdullah al-Qarni. Ayat al-Qarni. Does any of you brothers endorse this book? It's a good book? Is this a good book? It's a good book? It's a good book, inshallah. And I don't have a problem with giving a book by Ayat al-Qarni if it's a beneficial book. Is it permissible to make tawaf around the graves of the awliya, and is it permissible to ask them for help? This is la yajuz. It's not permissible, and it's a kabira from the kabair. Number one, وَمَا يُدْرِيكُمْ أَنَّهُمْ مِنَ الْأَوْلِيَا. How do you know they're from the awliya? And even if they were from the awliya, it is not permissible to make tawaf around them, nor to call on them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or anyone from the anbiya and the rasul. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala said in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas, duriba mathalun fastami'u lah. Inna alladhina tad'una min dunillahi lan yakhluqu dhubaba. لن يخلطوا ذبابا ولو اجتمعوا له وإن يسلبهم الذباب شيئا فلا يستنقذوا منه ضعف الطالب والمطلوب. O mankind, a similar tool has been given to you. Verily those who you call on other than Allah, the anbiya, the malaika, the jinn, the awliya, those who you call on other than Allah, they cannot create a fly. Rasulullah cannot create a fly along with all of the anbiya, even if they all came together for that purpose. And if the fly were to steal something from them, take something from them, they will never be able to get it back from the fly. They are weak and the fly is weak. So it's not permissible. How much love should we have for the sunnah? How much love should we have for the sunnah? How much love do you have for your life? How much love do you have for your life? That's the amount of love you should have for your sunnah, for the sunnah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله والرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه. Oh, you believe, answer the call of Allah and His Messenger when they call you to that which will give you life. The sunnah will give you life. In the hadith of Umar radiyallahu anhu, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. How much should you love the sunnah? You should love it more than your kids and yourself and your family. None of you truly believes until I become more beloved to you than your parents, than your children, than your own selves, all of the people. That's how much you should love the sunnah. And the sunnah is our life. And as Imam Malik used to say, as a proof, the sunnah is your life. He said the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is like the ark of Noah. It is like the ark of Noah. Whoever gets on it will be saved from the flood. And whoever forsakes to ride it, for whatever his intellect is saying. Noah's son said, I'll go up on the highest mountain. Whatever his intellect says, he will be drowned. So the sunnah will make you ma'soom. It is the asima. It is that thing which will help you. So akhi, I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know. Come to the car, inshallah. You get this, and we'll see you brothers after 2 weeks. This Saturday, inshallah, I'm going to America, and I'm going to ask you brothers to make dua for me because the dunya has changed. Because of the dawah of the Khawarij and because of the adawah and the enmity of the kuffar towards al-Islam, our rights as Muslims have been suspended at any moment. You don't have to travel. They can come to the masjid. They could come to your home. They can raid your home. They can raid my home. They can deport me. All they have to do is say, you did this, you did that. You have no more rights. So now that I'm traveling, believe it or not, the cheapest ticket that was available, the only cheap ticket was available for September 11th. So that's the ticket I was able to get. Saturday, inshallah. I ask you brothers to make dua. With the dua of my brothers, inshallah, I could become ma'soom bi-idhnillah. Because for the last few trips that I have taken, for the last 2 trips that I did take, they stopped me. In America, they stopped me here. They stopped me in America and they stopped me here. 7 hours, 8 hours with the handcuffs behind your back. Wallahi, for what? They want to ask me who I am. I'm going to tell them, you don't have to put the handcuffs behind my back like this for 8 hours and then your muscles start hurting your shoulder. And the Prophet told the truth, ikhwani. He told the truth when he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, yati ala nasi zaman. As-sabiru ala dinihi kal-qabid ala al-jamr. The time is going to come that the person who was patient on his deen, not out of feet cut his beard off, not out of feet start acting like the kuffar, not practicing Islam, telling the people I want to be a modernist, I want to be a modernist. The time will come that the one who's going to be patient in his deen is like the one who holds a hot coal. Literally. The coal is burning his hand. He sees the smoke and he hears it sizzling. It's burning through his meat and his bones. And he says, I can't let it go because this is my life. And it burns through his bones. And he has to hold on to it. That's how it is today. So if in fact I wind up in Guantanamo Bay, inshallah, make dua for me that I don't be like the people who are mutaza'zi'un, they leave their religion. Make dua that we're like Imam Ahmed, who when they brought the people out to beat him, they brought 70 people out to beat him. Imam Ahmed made all of them tired. Yes, he was falling out. He was losing consciousness, but they had to use 70 people to beat him. Because one man by himself wasn't strong enough. He was thabit on the sunnah. That's Ahlul Hadith, ikhwan. Not just Rafi' al-Yadayn, saying Ameen. It's giving dawah to these kuffar, dawah to the sunnah, dawah to your relatives, dawah to your wife, being patient upon the sunnah. It's praying the salawat. It's praying the sunnahs connected to the 5 prayers. Fasting on Monday and Thursday. I'm Ahlul Hadith, but I'm musbil. Everyone has dhanoob and ma'asi. Everyone. But at least we have to be the Ahlul Hadith Ikhwan who are staying away from innovation. Staying away from things that are clearly not the signs of Ahlul Hadith. This is clearly a sign that is anti-Ahlul Hadith. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and yuthabbitana ala dinihi, and to make us of those people who are truthful in word and deed. Hada wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. And I ask you guys by Allah, don't just listen to that. I really want you guys to make dua for me, inshallah, in my absence. In my absence. September 11th comes, remember Abu Sami travel, September 11th. Make dua. Make dua. Assalamu alaikum.